nice, good, clean air outside. And we're very sorry that you did contact the COVID, but and you made it through, so that's the main thing. Now you won't have to worry about it anymore. Now we just have other things we're getting worried about, like getting antennas up and stuff. Hi. Okay, let me shoot it down to you, Craig, and see how you copied Rex there. K7GI at road K6MYC.
Yeah, Mike. Well, I'm hearing Rex, but I'm not hearing, it's not Q5 at all, Mike. In fact, just even listening to you, just to give you an idea how bad my noise is, your audio is cutting through, but I'll tell you, it's just kind of beating me up just even listening to you. So I think I'm going to call it here and let you have it for a while. I'm thinking I'll come back maybe in another, see if our noise level gets a little bit better, but it's just terrible here. It's just a constant S7 noise level, and it's just really tough. Even signals that are above the noise level, it's just kind of hard on the ears. But anyway, nice to hear everybody. Rex, sorry to hear about your COVID. Hope you, I'm glad to hear you're recovering from it. I know it can be terrible, so glad to hear you've made it to, at least started to recover from it. Hopefully, if our noise level wasn't this bad, I'd be able to hear you no problem. But it's just, like I said, I've been just listening to it. Now that, by the way, that noise that was on, that noise, that seems to be gone now, and I thought that was the biggest problem. But our atmospheric noise now is just tremendous. Anyway, I'll maybe be back a little bit later and check back and see if things have gotten better. In the meantime, Jan, thanks again. Nice to hear you. Glad we could say hello to you tonight. And we'll maybe Mike, when Mike gets his noise on, we might be able to say hello to him a little bit later. And Rex, again, sorry, can't copy you better. But again, I'm glad to hear you're feeling better. ZS6HA to take it. I'm going to sign with you and Mike. 73's, cheers to everybody. ZS6HA, K7GI.
Thank you, Frank. K7GI signing here. Trust you well. On the sounds of it, I can hear you. 5 and 2, 5 and 3 on my side. Hope you can hear me, Rick. And hope you fully recover from this virus thing. So I'm also going to sign on this side. We do ZS3Y, and see you maybe tomorrow. Say see you maybe tomorrow. I did work to Whiskey Alpha 5 Fox with Charlie on 75 with a very good 5 bucks and 6 both ways. And he was awfully strong in the back and very quiet. Yeah, as I said, we were waiting for some more rain. They predicting some more rain over the weekend. And what can we do? We'll rather take the rain than no rain, Mike and Craig. And correct. The best feeling me all well. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Craig and Mike. Kilo 16 Mike and Charlie. So that is all about finding things.
See you later, Jan. See you later, Corey. 73.
Okay, somebody's really moved in awfully close now, and I'm having QR Mary very, very close there within a kilometer. I don't know what that's all about, but maybe we can scare them away here a little bit. ZS6HA, ZS6REX, ZS1RJ, Charlie Queen. And I think there's another ZS in there, but I haven't got the call yet. We'll pick you up in a moment. This is K6MYC. Very good, Jan. 73. Look for you tomorrow, and hopefully better conditions. Earlier will be better propagation also for you. Oh, you're doing fine. Strangely enough, the signal's only about S7. You're only running about S7 here at the moment, but Q5, the background noise in my case is down to S3. I think it's just a total propagation collapse. Because normally when the signals are really good, my background noise is about S5 to S6. But it's only S3. But there's so many snaps on there. That's what's really good and getting Craig crazy tonight. The band is very generally noisy, but the background noise floor is only S3. But it's just filled with all kinds of other crap. So it almost doesn't sound quiet, but it is. Anyway, that's why we can copy you at S7. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to hear you at S7. 73's Jan, 73 to you, Craig, and maybe it'll be better later. Pop back in if you're hearing us. If you're hearing us, it propagates better later. Be sure and pop back in. May just take a standby before, and we'll probably also say 73s to you, Rex. Thanks very, very much for coming in. Let me shoot it back to you briefly, Rex. I think you want to get out also. We're going to lose propagation to you anyway very quickly. Sometimes you guys hear me quite a bit longer than I hear you, but it's because of our very bad evening noise here. The evening noise looking to the east is always quite severe. ZS1REX for a quickie, K6MYC. Go ahead.
Morning, Mike.
Yeah, good morning, Jan. Volker.
Mike, I have calculated in there as well. Thank you very much, Jan. Thank you very much, Volker. Thank you, Connie. Thank you.
Okay, very good, Rex. And yes, you sound like you're getting stronger day by day. That's a good sign. That's good that you're continually on the improve and no plateaus. Very good. Good evening to you from California. Good morning to you in South Africa, Johannesburg area there. Take care. We'll look for you tomorrow. I'll try to be on here earlier, and then we'll have on. I'll be on around at least at 04. Early as 0330. So as early as you can get on, the better, because we have the better propagation to ZS6 earlier in the day here. 73's Rex. Now, let's see. I hear Volker in here. Volker, let me shoot it to you quickly. And I don't know if you were in here long enough to hear Craig. Craig, are you still here? Greg may have gone away. Greg's been battered with background noise. We've got a noisy band here tonight, Volker, but you're coming through nicely. So take one, and then if you want, shoot it down to Corey. Otherwise, shoot it back here, and I'll get it down to Corey. ZS3 Yankee, K6MYC in a group.
Okay, Mike. I did hear Craig earlier. I was past here on the VFO, and I did hear Craig earlier, but he wasn't real strong. It was like a S7 maybe at that stage. I'm not going to stick around 20 meters now to catch up with Ian. I was down the band calling CQ for quite a few minutes, and then I said to catch some dogs, and came back and gave another few CQ calls, but never had any takers. So I think band conditions are probably fairly poor today. You're not getting beyond the S9 on the absolute peak, so I think conditions are somewhat down. I see again we've got a sunspot number of 0. Yesterday we had a positive number, so we had 0 for quite a few days. And we got 2 or 3 days with a positive number, and we're back to 0 again. So I don't know. The cycle is going to be a bit of a really, really poor one from what I can tell so far. Definitely nothing to rave and go berserk about. I suppose most guys should probably just ensure that they improve their station and get the most out of it. Anyway, So I don't know whether I can hear Corey by now. Yeah, I should be able to. Morning, Corey, if you're in there. Anybody else that may be listening. Anyway, so yeah, I heard a fairly strong North American signal up the band earlier. I don't know who it was, but I think he was really the only one on the band that was of any sort of a signal strength. But yeah, otherwise it seems fairly poor propagation at this stage of the game. Anyway, blue sky, sunshine, what have we got, 25 in the shack or thereabouts? Yeah, 25 was in the shack, and not sure what it is outside right now, but nice and coolish for the early morning, but that won't last. We'll certainly go one way only, and that's up and away into the 40s again. Yeah, 19.2 was our absolute minimum earlier. It's 20 even right now at the base of the tower, so it's already starting to climb. Anyway, Corey, if you can hear me, pick it up, otherwise back to you, Mike, from ZS3Y.
Okay, I don't hear Corey, so maybe he's having a little trouble. You guys don't have propagation yet, but it'll come shortly. Very good, Volker. An easy copy, armchair copy, although like you say, we're just touching the 9. You're seeing me the same as I'm seeing you. Just touching the 9 mark and holding very steady there, no QSB, and the band is definitely way down. I've got this background noise of S3. So S3 to S9, that's why you're sounding like you're in the room with me here. Very nice, except for there's a lot of little crap going on the band, and carriers and tuner-uppers and this and that and the other thing, but you're plowing right through all of that, so no worries. Okay, on catching Ian, maybe you could do both. Maybe you can check over there for him and then pop back here, and we can continue for just a bit more. Craig has been on here for a while. He's gotten battered from the noise. He's got terrible noise down there. It's worse for him than it is for me. And for a while we had that noise source that was hopping around the band. I don't know if it's a signal source or you'd call it a noise source, but it's kind of a little thing that hops around like a the band. I'm watching it on the spectrum scope, and it's about 20 kilohertz wide. And it bursts all over the place, up and down, bouncing around just like a rubber ball. But it's putting out these noise spikes, and no matter where it is in that spectrum, no matter where it is, up or down 200 kilohertz either side of center is what I'm looking at. And I can hear it making sparks, making noise spikes on the band. So it sounds like ignition. It isn't, but it has the same the very short duration spike noise that ignition noise has. But it's not ignition, and it's something man-made. There's no question about it. And it comes on, and then it's gone. Now, it hasn't come on for about the last 20 minutes, thank God, because it's very annoying. And I don't know whether they just do it at certain times or they don't do it if we notice them or something. I don't know. I can't believe they're listening to us talk about it. Apparently it's not on your side. At least Sean did not hear it over there. He said it was quiet over there for him. So it may be something that's coming out of the area behind you guys or up more toward Europe and where it's off the side of the antennas. Down to you, Corey, and hopefully copy's still holding up nicely for you as it should. ZS1 Charlie Queen was ZS3 Yankee K6MYC. Now, Corey may have drifted off. He was in and out, but we didn't turn into it for quite a while here, so maybe he just went and got a cup of coffee or something. He said it takes about 3 or 4 cups of coffee to get him going in the morning. So, Volker, back to you. It's just you and me at the moment. And if you want to get out of here, I can take a break also. I got home very late. We were in town all day. We didn't get home here until 0740, which was 0340, and my net starts at 03. I crammed down the dinner that we brought home. And I'm sitting here holding a cat who's waiting very patiently for me to take him out and feed him. So I can take a break here if you want to get away, and I'll go feed the cat, and then I'll come back in there and make a little noise somewhere in this section of the van. Sorry we missed you down below, but I got started here right off the bat. I just turned the radio on, and Jan was talking. So I didn't even have to tune the receiver. I was just turned the radio up and plugged in the Bluetooth jack, and there was Jan talking to Craig and others. So I didn't move from the frequency, obviously. Didn't do any tuning around at all. ZS3Y, very easy copy, K6MYC, Central California.
Again, skip this 5:30 Zulu. We've shifted it to a bit later. Since sunrise and everything's later. So I've got another 15 minutes before I give you. I need to look on 20 meters, Mike. Anyway, we'll note it. And look, I was probably about an hour ago, maybe just over an hour ago, when I was down the bend and started calling CQ for a couple of minutes before giving it a miss and feeding the cats and dogs, and then coming back again afterwards. But I think the conditions are just really down, period. But yeah, you got copy. I mean, the noise floor here, it's 3S4. It's 3S4 right now, so you're not going. You drop down maybe a 7 on the absolute bottom of a little bit of QSB. You're still well above noise floor by a huge margin at this stage of the game. But yeah, I mean, normally I would expect you to be at least 5 dBs into the red, and that of course isn't happening. And I suppose it's also an indicator that the seasons are changing. This past, I mean, it'll still be with us for a while, but it's going to go away eventually, and the signals are already potentially changing. Maybe look, it could also just be that solar conditions are a bit wonky, because they are. But certainly the indicators are there. I mean, I've had it now on 20 meters as well. You look North Americans, and you don't expect to hear anything out of Europe, and then all of a sudden you see a big signal, OH5NQ, Peter calling you, and you turn to avoid him, and he's 10 over without the preamp on. He's 20 over with a preamp on, and this is like after 9 at night. So the seasons and the propagation and the paths are changing, and I'm sure it's also having an impact here on the 40 meters your way, of course, I was on yesterday evening. The night before I was. The night before that I wasn't, because we had thunder and lightning. So I haven't been on consistently. I've been on consistently every second or third day. But there's no luck on 15. And 20 is okay, sort of an hour and later after sunset. Toward North America, 20 is okay, short path. And I'm spotting, running Whisper in the mornings recently. I'm starting to see signals come through at, after 0600 or so on 20 meters off the back of the antenna. Because I'm pretty sure they're not coming in long. I've got to beam toward Australia, and running Whisper on receive. And, last day or two, all of a sudden I'm seeing North American signals in there. And I'm pretty sure that's short path across the Atlantic because of course we do get that late summer, early autumn, that 40 goes away, and then half an hour to an hour later, 20 meters is potentially workable late night your end across the Atlantic. So that may start happening already in the meantime as well. Anyway, back to you, Mike. K6MYC, ZS3Y.
Yeah, very good. Let me try again for Corey. Maybe Corey was just out getting a cup of coffee. Didn't mean to leave you out, Corey. ZS1 Charlie Queen, ZS1CQ, are you there? K6MYC. And there was somebody else also. Hang on just a sec, Corey.
On the side there, Mike. I can't hear Falker. On the last I could slightly hear him, but propagation between us is still no good. Back to you, K6MYC, ZS1CQ.
Yeah, Roger. Well, it'll pick up, but we're going to, Volker's going to only stay in there for about another 20 minutes at the most. And I'm going to, at that point, take a little break and go out and feed the cat. The cat is laying on my chest here. I'm leaning comfortable without putting his claws into me. Anyway, there was another breaker, perhaps a ZS, I think, kilowatt 6 Mike, Yankee Charlie with ZS3Y and ZS1 Charlie Queen. Go ahead, please. Who was the other ZS? That may not have been a ZS. Was it a W6 or W that wants to talk to Volker or Corey, over? Well, whatever, they left. Okay. That simplifies it. Anyway, there you go. Corey, I heard you say you cannot hear Volker, and Volker probably cannot hear you either. He turned it down to you, and so that's why I picked it up here. So it makes it a little bit awkward, obviously, when you guys have that no propagation situation going on. Anyway, I think we're pretty much under control, Corey, as far as things that you and I are working on together here, so nothing has to be passed on one way or the other. I think Tom was off to get some coffee. I got the impression he might be back, ZT1T. Good to hear him back on. He was on last night and said hello. Everything's been okay with Tom. He said no problems there. Just hasn't So there you go. And I guess Mike's coming back also, that perhaps later. And the problem with that Papa Zulu has is he's got this terrible noise that comes from the east. And he's got a very low angle arrival there because of his peninsula location with water of the Indian Ocean to the east and water from the Atlantic Ocean to the west. So it doesn't matter where it's coming in from, but he gets all of it. So he's suffering from, I think, band noise, but we're not sure. It seems kind of strange because it goes away almost abruptly when the sun comes up. At least Mike's does. Now maybe his doesn't. But I worked Peter one night here a few days ago at 06:30 almost, and he was still coming in. So he's got a very low angle and very long propagation because of his location there. Volker, I was curious. You said you worked one loud station, or heard one loud station from North America up the band here tonight, and I guess you didn't note who it was. And then you also mentioned you had worked, let's see, who did you say you worked? Oh, the very strong signal that was coming in on 20 meters at as late as 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock your time. I think you said it was a European, but I didn't catch who it was. You said it was 10 over 9 barefoot, and then not barefoot, but when you turned the preamp on, it was 20 over. But I missed the call sign of where that was coming from. Whoa! Cat slipped off. Sorry, he slipped off, but he didn't slip off. He buried his claws in my chest. Sorry about that. ZS3Y, K6MYC.
Okay, Mike. Scandinavia, actually. Look, we traditionally we can hear them. We can hear Europe sort of in the summertime, early evening. Usually by sunset and a little bit later they start fading. So 9 o'clock at night you don't expect to hear anything from there anymore. But obviously, as the season changes, as the propagation changes, as we head toward autumn, then all of a sudden they do come through quite late at night still. And yeah, this was Scandinavia, Oscar Hotel 5, November, Quebec. And okay, he wasn't exactly running a K3 and a KPA 500 into a 3/3/3/3 stack. I think the top antenna up at 52 meters or something. So not quite as tall as Ian set up, but it is a club station on his property, and he runs it remotely. I mean, whenever I spoke to Peter recently, he was running his window and from his home, but he's got the remote set up now that he doesn't have to trudge down through the tundra, through the snow, and make his way to the club station, which I think is a couple hundred meters away from his house. He can run it remotely. And yeah, he was stronger than any of the North Americans by a mile. You know, the North Part to North America 2 nights ago wasn't that strong. I'd worked, hang on, I'll tell you now who I'd worked. Before Peter came in there. 1440 K3WKJ in Pennsylvania, Al. He was S5 to S6 without the preamp on. And he was just running an X-beam and 100 watts, so I suppose he wasn't doing too badly. And then Victor Echo 9 Charlie Whiskey Tango, he was up to S8. And he was running a bit of power, but he was running a leaky dummy load. A T5RV on a 16-foot painter's pole on top of his roof. So not very high up. He was running Icon Pro 2 and a 2KO amplifier with about 400 watt out or so. And then Big Alpha C Alpha called in, but I mean he's only running 70 watt or something. He was S2 to S3 on the absolute peak. And then Peter called when I signed with the Victor Echo 9. And he was louder already than the Victor Echo 9 with me looking toward Canada or toward North America. But then when I moved it toward due north effectively for Peter, he was well over the 9. So, and this was at 1936 to 1946. We didn't speak too long because I wanted to get away anyway. I wanted to go to bed, shower in bed and whatever. Anyway, 1936. It's 24 minutes to 10 at night here. So. This was definitely pretty late for Scandinavia, but I suppose it's an indication the season is changing. Even though, as far as I'm concerned, March, April, May is autumn. The propagation's already showing the way of what's going to happen, where we're heading, I suppose. Because I could hear Corey, but I can't copy him. He's down in the noise at 3S4, so I could tell he's there, but I can't really make him out. And I suppose will come up over the next little while, but not as yet. And anyway, something else I was going to mention, but okay, I'm going to catch you up. I refrained from having them lie on my chest or so because of slip, hold on, etc. Better not. K6MYC ZS3Y.
Yeah. Now, I should know better, but he's lonely. I was missing all day, so he just likes to climb up on me, and he just likes to be close to me. That's you know how they are. And unfortunately, he was sitting on the chest, but he leaned the wrong way, and he slipped, and he slid off. I've got a kind of a slippery jacket on, and he slipped off the jacket, and he was headed for the floor, and instead of doing that, he just reached up and grabbed for whatever he could grab. Well, when you look at his claws, he's an outdoor cat. He's been grown up out here. His claws are every bit of a half-inch long, 12 to 13 millimeters long and that's outside the sheath. So they are monstrous claws, and they are hook-shaped, of course, like a big hook. And so they work really well for him. You ought to see him go up and down trees. He can go up and down a pole, a post, even if it doesn't have much bark or anything, or even any roughness to it. He can go up a pole pretty good, a square post or whatever. So the claws are really, really sharp, and they really are pointed. And he put a big hole in one of them went right into my chest here. He's about to climb on again and try again. Now, don't knead. You got bad claws there. Just knead over on this. He wants to get. I've just got a very light shirt on today because I was in town. I normally have a big plaid shirt. He can knead on me, and it doesn't get through. But gee, today he's getting right through my little thin shirt I wore today. There you go. There you go. You comfortable now? Now sit still. Anyway, let's see. Peter, I guess, you mentioned the call. I think at Lima Alpha, if I'm not mistaken, with the stack. I've worked him a couple of times. He does have one of those signals that just comes through no matter what. And sounds like that's what you were working. I didn't get a chance to. We've had good weather here. In fact, yesterday I spent all day doing trimming. I have a lot of what we call Mexican chenille. It's a purple flowered plant that gets big stems somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.5 meters long. And hundreds of stems come out of each plant, and they're covered with purple flowers. And the hummingbirds love them. But at this time of the year, they're a very warm weather plant, and they start to give up, and they get looking ugly because most of the foliage goes away and most of the blossoms go away. They're pretty much full blossomed all the time that they're healthy. So when the weather starts to get cold, they shut down. And they still make blossoms, but not in the profusion. But I've got a whole row of them along a driveway that's about 40 feet. Anyway, they look bad at this time of the year, so I went in and pruned them. And I was also in there with with the rose bushes. Originally, I planted the rose bushes 3 or 4 feet back from the Mexican chenilles. But the Mexican chenilles did so well this year. They grew so high, they went 4 or 5 feet in all directions. And so they were entangled in the rose bushes. So Mikey got all covered up with rose bush thorns yesterday. I got through the whole thing without any serious damage, but it was hooking on my clothing, and I was fighting rose stems and rose thorns most of the day. But we did get a really good a bunch of stuff cleaned up, and it looks real nice now with everything. I'm going to get in there and give them some rose food so we get some nice rose blossoms coming out this spring. So that's what I've been doing. Very warm in the sense of sunlight warm, but if you're in the breeze or in the air where the air is moving, where there's wind, it's very chilly. The temperature's in the low 50s, 50 to 55 and that area. And but if you don't have to put up with the wind, then the sun is very hot because it's very clear. Since the rain, we haven't got any stuff in the air here. All the clouds and the smoke and whatever was left, the dust and the smoke from the summer is gone. 6 inches of rain cleaned that out nicely, and we've got a huge mountainside to the east of me. All the Sierras is loaded up with the white snow, so we've got a beautiful sight of snow in the mountains 40, 50 miles to the north of me here. And I'm sure that's not helping the temperatures come up either. So that's the deal. Let me do this. Let me get out of here for a few minutes. I'll take the cat out and feed him, and then I'll be back. But maybe by that time you'll get a chance to go over and see if Ian's there. Give him my best wishes. And I'll turn it to Corey here just briefly. Corey, I'm going to take the cat out and feed him. I've been gone all day, and he hasn't seen me, so he's laying on my chest. But obviously he's also waiting to be fed. He's making sure that I'm not going to get away without feeding him here. ZS1 Charlie, Queen for a quickie, and then up to Bunker for his final K6MYC.
Roger, K7GI, ZS1CQ. All right, Mike, you go around 73, and I'll text you later. We want to try some models. The input ZS guys to make contact with you. Me and ZS6 also spoke. We let the guys know they need to be on there early, especially for the sober guys. So, yeah, we'll run sort of a list and see who of them can get through to you, Mike. But otherwise, no problem. Really please, Mike. I'm going to try to give it to Fulton. I heard him on the last sound there. Pretty soft, but I could make out what he's saying. So let's see if he can hear me. ZS3Y, good morning. You take it. ZS1 Charlie, Quebec.
I may be hearing half of what you're saying, Corey. I may be hearing half. You had the noise floor still. You haven't really come up. And you want to get the barefoot. Okay, so these guys have put up big antennas, have they? Yeah, well, no, fine. Okay, Mike. Ian, and I'll come take another look for you a bit later, since you're around. But if not, have a good night further, and I'll shall catch up over the weekend at some stage as well. K6MYC 73 for now from ZS3Y.
Yeah, okay, Volker, fine. And by the way, I did check 15 every day. I was on yesterday, not today, because I went into town pretty early. My niece came and picked